Hello and welcome to another edition of What Does the Giraffe Say Media with me, Kathleen Ratorne. We are an organisation that aims to connect and raise awareness about conservation work around the world. Today, I am very happy. I am joined by Sangita, and she is the founder for Voice for Asian Elephant Society. So, Sangita, if I could just hand over to you, if you could talk about a little bit about yourself, your background, how you got into conservation. I mean, you're an award-winning journalist. You've got international awards for your documentaries. So, I'd love to hear a little bit more about this.
Yeah, thank you. It's wonderful to be with you. And hello, everybody who's joining us. I'm excited you could participate. As Kathleen mentioned, I'm Sangita Iyer, and I am a National Geographic Explorer as well. And I'm really ecstatic to be able to share a little bit about myself, also a biologist. But the whole journey began, actually, I've been a nature lover and basically immerse myself in nature literally every single day. But my love for elephants were rekindled in 2013 when I was back in India to attend my father's first death anniversary. And out of very, very unique circumstances and the chain of synchronicities, which I've elaborated in my forthcoming book, I ended up visiting Kerala, where I was born and raised. And as a videographer, I carried my camera with me, and I visited a few temples, and I was absolutely devastated to see the plight of the so-called temple elephants that are being exploited by religious institutions of all kind, not just in Hindu temples, but also in, mosques, in churches. And none of these religious institutions and establishments, or even the scriptures, ever mention that elephants are needed to make God happy. Which God will be happy, to see God's creation suffer in the manner that they are made to create. The elephants I saw had massive tumors on their bodies, blood oozing out of their ankles because the chains had cut into their flesh, tears flowing down their face, and I voraciously started recording. And I absolutely knew then and there that I had to do something to bring the plight of these innocent and voiceless animals to the world. But just to drift back, even when I was 3 years of age, my grandparents used to take me to this beautiful temple where, I had bonded with an amazing tusker, and even the handlers would just leave me with a tusker to play with them. So it was one of those things where I had always felt a deep connection with them, but this was literally like it jolted me, and I said, I got to do something. So I embarked on a journey to produce Gods in Shackles. Little did I know then, that it would become such a successful film. It was my first so-called, feature documentary, although I produced a lot more short films prior to that. But, and little did I know that it would be nominated at the United Nations or win some 12 International Film Festival awards, best doc. I mean, I never expected any of this. The point I'm trying to make is that I just followed my heart. And I did what I knew I needed to do. I was terrified of so many things. There were so many obstacles that continued to be placed on my path. And I just prayed. I am a woman of faith, and I believe in a higher power, no matter what we choose to call this higher power. And so that's what inspired me to basically rekindle my love that had been instilled in me as a child. And this time I realized these elephants are in shackles. And, so came Gods in Shackles. And then I felt that that's not good enough, because I needed to do more, not just create awareness, but also to do more in terms of bringing, some kind of solutions to the places where these abuse and exploitation is taking place. Then I kind of decided to do both captive and wild elephants. And right now we're finding that wild elephants are equally, if not more so, in dire situations, because the population in India is expanding at an unprecedented rate, 1.4 billion people in India. And there are only about 27,000 wild Asian elephants, about 2,500 captive elephants. of which 500 captive elephants, mostly bulls, are in Kerala alone, which is a place I was born and raised in. So everything came together, and when the movie was released, I felt I needed to do more, and we created this organization called Voice for Asian Elephant Society. And I'm really, really excited to share that we have already actually provided about 8 or 9 projects which are making a huge difference in India and in specific, elephant range states like West Bengal in particular. In Odisha, we still have to make a lot of difference. It's a really different situation in Odisha and Kerala. But even in Kerala, I'm going to share something a little bit later, but we have launched a campaign that people will be blown away by. And so that's how this whole thing, one thing led to the next, next. And then the National Geographic Society opportunity, I won the award, the storytelling award, and I could produce a 26-part short film series, many of which were aired on National Geographic, multiple channels. And it was even featured on the eve of the COP26 to the European Union Commission. I mean, I could not have ever imagined all this would happen when I started producing, these short films. So that's just in a nutshell.
I mean, you're doing some incredible work, and it's really appreciate all the stuff that you are doing. I mean, you were talking about it there with your documentary with the Gods in Shackles, and I understand it's now going to be it's going to be a book, or is a book, and is available on Amazon Prime. So can you talk to us a little bit about this? Because I mean, elephants in India are seen as gods, but there is a very dark side to this. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you were seeing, and then how you kind of went about trying to raise awareness of what was happening?
Yes, and that's the irony of it all. It is a tragic paradox, as I like to call it, because, the thing is, there are so many good people, but they're just mired by misguided cultural beliefs. And some of them are actually misinterpreting religious scriptures. And so, to exploit elephants to make money. Elephants are such majestic animals, and they just touch everybody's heart and soul on such a deep level. And so it was appalling to see that these religious institutions that are supposed to spread peace, love, harmony, not just for each other, but also for every single sentient being, were exploiting the most gentle and the most peace-loving, the most, docile of all animals, that is, and the most intelligent, highly social. And, I mean, they even though people are exploiting them in this manner, they still are so forgiving, are so compassionate, and so incredibly loving. And so I felt I needed to bring to the attention of people, because I was not able to do that in the film Gods in Shackles. So a lot of things that I was unable to present in the film, which was only 90 minutes long, I could bring into Gods in Shackles. But beyond just about elephants, I also talk about the cultural and religious misguided beliefs that people are exploiting and misusing and abusing simply to make money. And even gods, even in Hinduism, for instance, AHIMSA is the foundation. It's the grounding principle. AHIMSA means non-violence. Yet everything being inflicted upon these elephants is violent. And I knew I needed to help people understand that this is not what Hinduism is about. This is not what any religion, for that matter, teaches. All religions teach us that to treat others, which means every living being, the way we want to be treated. Is this how we want to be treated? Imagine, shackled and being dragged on hot tar roads. That's what these elephants have to endure. They're being deprived of the basic necessities of life. No water, no food, no sleep. They're transported from one festival to another through trucks and really precarious roads, and they can't even balance their massive bodies, and many of them have fallen and died, in accidents such as these. And then, of course, when they get frustrated, when they're starving, they run amok and they're punished still further. They use spike chains to capture them, and then they're tortured with bull hooks and with spike poles and all these. It's just so sad that a country that calls elephants the heritage animal and is worshipped, are considered to be the embodiment of Lord Ganesh, which is a Hindu god with elephant face, are being exploited. Like, where is the disconnect, and how can we bridge that disconnect? So I embarked on this journey, and when I wrote the book, there are so many things that just came to me, and there's so much research I did, and I was able to hopefully piece together at least some things. But of course, this is a continuing journey, and so I'm already working on my second book. But to begin, I wanted to talk about captive elephants and captive minds. Our minds are being held captive, are being held prisoners by cultural myths, by misguided myths. That's what is exposed and revealed in my book, which has not been able to be revealed in the film. So it's a combination from micro to macro, how we are exploiting the natural world and how it's going to come to impact us and return to haunt us.
For sure. And I mean, if you want to purchase it, they can go on Amazon Prime and do that. We've got a question coming through from Stacey Satterfield. Hi, Stacey, regular watcher of the show. And she's asking, how do the temples explain their mistreatment of elephants?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Stacey. They can't explain, right? The only thing, and the thing is, when you really think about it, the cultures that they are ingrained in, that their minds are ingrained in, cultures are created by people. It's not, and religious scriptures are written by people, right? It's subjective. It's what whoever writes thinks is the right thing. And it is just so deeply ingrained. So they have no explanation to this, except that they continue to say that elephants were used since time immemorial in wars, and so they continue to justify. But my response to that is, yes, elephants were used in wars in ancient times because we didn't have the sophisticated advanced machinery and technology that we have now, and weapons of destruction that we have now. So you don't need elephants for anything. We didn't have advanced technology for logging at the time. So elephants were used for logging, right? And they were kept by the kings. And so they just didn't know what to do when we had advanced technology. We had bulldozers that could just bulldoze off thousands of trees in a fraction of a second. All these things are available right now. Machinery is evolved. So what they decided, they concocted something that never existed. And that's the whole argument that I made, that this never, hundreds of elephants being paraded in festivals beneath hot tar roads is unheard of. It is only in the last, since the 1980s, that is when mostly, especially in Kerala, many men, they had the opportunity to go to the Middle East. Of course, when you think of the Middle East, you think of, unsustainable energy that they generate through oil rigs and, gas and everything by exploiting the ocean. But aside from the polluted money that they make, they just don't know how to use that money. So a lot of men from Kerala went to the Middle East, minted money, and they wanted to have this status quo, that owning an elephant is a status quo because kings used to own it. So now we can own it. And so the thing it is a vicious cycle. And it's hard. And finally, the courts are beginning to pay attention. I'm so proud of the Madras High Court in Tamil Nadu. They said no more captive elephants. So this has to happen in many states in order to end captivity.
And you touched on it a bit earlier, where you say that you started up the Voice for Asian Elephant Society. Can you talk to us a little bit about this, what the organization's about, and your key projects and achievements there?
Sure. Our mission is to protect the endangered Asian elephants by creating sustainable human communities. So here's the dichotomy that we continue to face, right? A lot of us, especially in the activism field, we feel a lot of anger and hatred toward people who exploit and who hurt elephants, not only in captivity, but also in the wild. You see young people, young men in particular, who are jobless, who have nothing better to do. They have no purpose in their lives. And that is because they don't have the education and knowledge that are needed in order for them to get a job in the first place. So we have to make sure that we address that issue and educate these people. And the literacy rate in India is only about 74%, and only about 12% of Indian people speak English. So there's a big, huge communication gap, education gap, knowledge and information gap. Although people are now tuning into social media and all of these things, they still continue to push their agenda without really wanting to learn the sciences behind this. So education is number one. This is why we're focused on creating sustainable human communities, so we can empower them to save the elephants and to protect them, and help them understand that by saving elephants, we're actually saving humanity. We're actually saving vast ecosystems. We are saving the forests, and so that gap is something that we are bridging. So there are a lot of projects. When you talk about, people who don't have money to live in the cities, they move closer to the forest fringes. And when they live there, obviously they go into the forest to gather forest resources. But then elephants also come because right by the forest fringes, they're cultivating, and elephants are getting free nutritious food just outside the forest fringes. Obviously, they're lured and they're attracted to this food. They come and they eat the crops. This is what helps the farmers sustain lives, sustain their own livelihoods. So we have to find a way, and this is what we did. They don't even have basic things like flashlights, for instance, that we take for granted. So one of our projects is flashlight distribution to, workers who work in the tea plantations along the forest fringes. That is making a huge difference, along with so many other projects that other wonderful organizations are also implementing. Our project is making a huge difference because last year in West Bengal alone, there were 21 elephant deaths. And so far this year, there's been like 14. There is a reduction, and every single life lost is one life far too many. And so we're still working hard. Odisha and Kerala are two of the most difficult states to work in, but we're making significant progress in West Bengal. We've launched, just recently last week, we launched elephant-friendly electrical fencing, and we have some amazing photos of how this tusker, how elephants are so intelligent. He comes, and because the tusks do not conduct electricity, he's using the tusk, and he somehow managed to get in, and he ate all of the crops and he disappeared. That was just adorable to watch, but not so adorable for the farmers. So we got to find a way to compensate for the loss so they are more kind and compassionate towards elephants, right? So we'll bring those images shortly. We posted a video last week. You can go and take a look at that on Facebook, VFAES Facebook. And then there's this other project that we're launching in January. And this is an amazing project that, has been kind of piloted a little bit, but now we're trying to scale it up, wherein we are going to train the same youth who bully elephants. We're going to train them to conserve and protect elephants and create safe passages. And why are these bullies necessary? Because they're the ones who will control the crowd. Every time the crowd sees the elephants, they all come running towards the elephants, because, they're all mesmerized to a certain extent, but that really disturbs the elephants. There's, a lot of chaos and confusion, all of which will be controlled by the youth. So there are so many other projects. They can log on to vfaes.org/projects, and you'll find a whole bunch more other amazing projects. Yeah.
And I think one of the things with you guys as well is you have such an incredible like family of supporters. You know, you have a lovely community of people that are working with you to try and help these elephants. And that kind of segues quite nicely into what we've been kind of keeping as a bit of a surprise for you viewers. So I would actually like to introduce to you Amy Burkman, and she is a live art entertainer, and she is going to be turning a blank canvas into a work of art. And then we're going to be discussing how you can get your hands on this incredible thing. So Amy, I'm going to hand over to you and let you start your thing.
All right, I'm going to start the music. I hope you guys enjoy.
Okay, so we're going to be showing Amy doing her work in the background, but meanwhile, we're going to have another quick chat with Sangita, and then we'll bring Amy back in so you can see what she is creating. I guess you can have a bit of an idea what it possibly might be. Okay, so Sangita, what I would like to ask from you is if people are watching back home and they want to be able to support, what's the best way for them to go about that?
Yeah, they can. There are a lot of volunteer opportunities available. We do need some people to help us with social media marketing to kind of promote our projects and involve people. And it's not just always about donations. Donations are always welcome. If anybody wants to support our projects, you can go to VFAES.org and donate if you don't have the time to volunteer. But honestly, we really do need people to support us, and we're going to be launching another campaign in December, and this is something that I am absolutely certain will touch people's heart. This one, we have seen a lot of elephants getting killed on railway tracks. And so we are working with the local people. One of the things you mentioned, Kathleen, is, we have a great community. And I'm telling you, I am so grateful, not just for the donations, but for the moral and emotional support that people have been providing me. I'm a bit raw when it comes to expressing myself. I'm a very open person, and I just cry when I'm hurt, and I laugh when I'm crazy, so this is just me. And that kind of expression is something only few people can tolerate. And I am so grateful to have the most incredible supporters. So thank you for being by my side and for supporting elephants. But I also want to say, the people in India on the ground, we have some amazing nonprofits on the ground, grassroots nonprofits whom we are collaborating with. One of them is the Nature Mates India, with whom we are working. And there is a lawyer. Remember I mentioned to you earlier that I'm going to share with you something that's going on in Kerala. I'm going to post this only on Monday, but here we go, exclusive for you guys, is that one of the lawyers has helped us launch a high court case in Kerala in order to address the plight of captive and wild elephants. What this means is that the judges are listening, and over the next few weeks, I'm hoping to meet them virtually. So this is where our discussions stand right now. I can't say a lot more than that at this point, but on Monday you can come and take a look at exactly what has been done. So that is happening in Kerala. It's not like we're walking away. Sometimes it's important to remain silent, making sure that, you know, nothing is preempted before everything happens. So I'm very cautious of that. I do that. And then in West Bengal, this train thing that I was talking to you about, so many elephants are getting killed under the train. So we have a local technology expert who has created sensors that will alert elephants a few meters away and stop them from, alert the elephants and hopefully stop them from crossing the railway tracks, or alert signals will be sent to the railway department, and they will then transmit that to the train pilot, who will then slow down or stop the train. So this is a huge, revolutionary, it's called ELESENSE, ELESENSE, that's the name of the project. Just stay tuned for that. Then on Monday or Tuesday, actually, we're going to be launching another project, and I'll tell you that only on Tuesday, but stay tuned for all of this. And for the Tuesday's project, it's nothing to do with specific projects, but it's bringing all of it together in one container for you guys. So that's going to be really thrilling and exciting.
Awesome. I'm just going to cut you off there because I'm seeing that Amy's doing some incredible work. So we're going to bring her back in.
Awesome.
Amazing. Sangita, I know you wanted to speak with Amy about her work. I mean, look at that. That's incredible.
It's amazing. I know who he is. I know who he is. And this happened, he came. So I'll first of all, tell me, Amy, what made you select this photo?
Well, I mean, first of all, I'm so inspired by all the work you do, Sangita. You just do such incredible work, and you offer so much, deeper insights on these amazing animals. And I just wanted to capture the spirit and the soul of these Indian elephants, and I hope I did that. But they're in these dire situations, like you said, but I also wanted to capture hope too for the future.
Oh, it's absolutely stunning. I'm getting goosebumps. And I'll tell you, this guy, he's just really young. He's only 3 years old. And he was with his mom, and he went down to the lake to drink water. And he and his mom, they saw us. I was in the truck filming them crossing, but he turned around and he looked. He continued to go because he knew we're harmless. Then he finishes drinking water, he and his mom, and he comes up first, okay? And his mom is behind him. It's almost like he's telling his mom, hang on, mom, let me take care of you. I am the boy, I am the man. And he comes and he just peeks out of the tree. That was when I captured that shot. It's absolutely spectacular. Oh, it's amazing. Oh man, it's amazing. You captured it just amazingly. It's fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all the work you do, Sangita.
Thank you for all the work you do. Like, I mean, you, without the support of people like you, and thank you for seeing the work that we do, and thank you for being inspired. Like, you can do whatever you want to inspire, but being inspired is up to that individual, and you are being inspired, and that is the key. So I just honor you for that. I celebrate you.
I celebrate you, and I'm just happy to be a small part of what you're doing. So that's really cool. Thank you.
Amy, I'm gonna jump in here. I'd love for you to be able to share your story as well about why you do these things, and you are creating this work, and this is something that you're very passionate about. Mm-hmm. So I would love to know a little bit more about like how that came about.
Yes. So I've always been very sensitive to the hardships and struggles of others, people and animals, since I was a kid, and always loved art as well. And I knew I wanted to do art to help others in some way. And then eventually I was painting murals. I went to West Africa and painted educational murals in different parts of West Africa. And I realized then, I was like, I love this. I want to do art with a purpose. And then I started doing live art, and we would educate the audience on endangered species, including elephants, tigers, stuff like that. And I just saw the potential in doing live art instead of audiences. And then I started raising money. I've raised over $1 million for a charity. And I was doing that part-time at one point, but during that time, I actually was diagnosed with a very rare and aggressive form of ovarian cancer. This was when I was 35, and went through treatment, all that, and I realized I wanted to quit my day job and pursue this full time, and that's what I've been doing ever since. And it's been a dream to help people like this, like Sangita and what she's doing. So it's been amazing.
I mean, you do some incredible stuff. I'm going to pull up your website now, actually. So if people back home are watching that they want to go and check out some of the other creations that you've been doing, then they can go onto that site and see it. Because you're incredibly talented, and I've so enjoyed having you guys on the show. Now I know this piece of artwork, there's something very special about it, and you're going to be able to get your hands on it if you want. So Amy, do you want to explain a little bit more about how that's going to work?
Yes. So what we do, and especially since COVID, we've been doing these virtual events, and we have an exciting way to own original artwork. So really, you can make a donation. And the highest donor will receive the original artwork, but you have multiple opportunities to win. So no matter how much you donate, you still have an opportunity to win a painting, a print of the painting. And then also the top 4 donors will receive a print as well. And anybody that donates over $25 will at least get a digital copy, a high-res digital copy that they can use for, if you want to print it on something, whatever you want to use it for. So.
I mean, it's incredible. And the fact that people have been able to watch you actually create it live and then be able to get their hands on it, that's so incredible. And as Amy says, anyone who wants to donate, they all go in for a chance to be able to get your hands on it. And I think you can agree it's an absolutely lovely piece of work, and all the money will go to help for the foundation. So talking a little bit more about that with you guys, I know you've been doing a lot of work with your foundation, and also trying to build awareness of the work you're doing. You were saying earlier, Sangita, about social media, but what other ways can people kind of join in and help that?
And they can also launch fundraising parties. Use every single talent you have. Like, look at what Amy is doing. I mean, she is such a shining example. And I just want to also plug in for Amy that she has provided a fantastic TED Talk if that doesn't make you cry, I don't know what else will. And so I'm just saying, like, such a sweethearted person is Amy. And we have so many wonderful people out there who sometimes feel helpless. They feel like, oh my God, this is happening in India. How can I help? What can I do? Well, donation is an easy thing to do, of course, but you guys can use your talents, become creative. When I say creative, I don't mean sit and paint. Not everybody is as talented as Amy, or not everybody is a painter, not everybody is an artist, but each of you has been given innate skills and talents. It is up to you to tap into that and ask yourself, hey, what is it that I can do? Maybe you love numbers and you're an accounting pro. Maybe, you love technology, you love social media. So come send us an email at support@vfaes.org. It's a simple, easy to remember email address, support@vfaes.org. And, tell us, you can host parties at your home. Christmas is coming up. Host parties, invite people as long as they wear masks and everything, and just be careful there. And make sure that, you teach them, use the opportunities, buy the book. And I'm not promoting this for myself. Trust me when I say that. The book has such educational value. So you can do little things like that. One of my board of directors said she's going to stack up like about 30, 40 books to give it away as a gift for all occasions, because you don't have to necessarily give it for Christmas or birthday, but you can give it for every single occasion. So get creative in your thinking. What is it that you can do with regards to these paintings, right? Maybe you can buy it as a gift and give it to somebody you love so dearly. Money will come and go, but the tenderness, the thoughtfulness, the time we spend together, these things can never be recalled. They're precious and to be cherished.
100%. And I think that's important for people to realize is the small things can also make a big difference. So even just things like sharing this interview on social media and raising awareness and getting other people to see the situations that they might not be aware is actually happening in other places. Just simple things like that can really make a huge difference.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Nikita Dhawan and Samarth Khanna. These are two youth that I work with very closely. They're joining us from India, and I am so proud of the work they do. Nikita has launched a powerful campaign to rescue Shankar, the African elephant, in the New Delhi Zoo. So if you guys want to learn about her work, just log on to Youth for Animals and just check her out. She's just one fireball. She's only 17 years old. She's dynamic. And Samarth, he's only 18. I met him when he was 13 and he came to watch Gods and Shackles in Delhi. And he's now VFAES youth leader. He is an amazing inspiration. We also have Ellen Gaze, who joined us from, I think, Boston. And I'm just so honored to have some of the supporters here. I think Brenda Saz is here. I just want to give a shout out. I'm not able to see everybody's name. Dolores, hey, I love that she comes up with these pizza party ideas. So thank you. I'm not able to see everybody, so please don't take it personally. Whomever I could see, I'm just giving a shout out. Thank you.
Okay, so we've had a couple of questions coming through while we're talking. And if you have got a question that you want to put to either Sangita or Amy, then please just pop it in the comments section and I will put it to them. So let me just bring this one up. So we got a question coming through from Dolores, and she's saying, can you explain about the Elephant Owner Association, their wealth, power, mafia, lobby, and how they influence corruption threats regarding all things elephants, whether captive, temple, or festival?
Right. So, okay, just as we have lobby groups in every single country, elephant owners have created their own association. And obviously, they have the money. And so money brings a lot of votes, right? And so they use their power, wealth, and influence to basically try and influence the party in power. Although I must tell you, the current government has been incredibly bold and has taken some bold moves to protect elephants, right? And so it's not always working, but then they do have tremendous influence, right? And there are certain government officers, especially in Odisha, for instance, who have been caught, being corrupt, meaning they've been caught accepting bribery, to be very blunt with you. But of course, it's the government itself who arrested these corrupt government officials. So there are good and the bad and the ugly, as we see everywhere. We just have to try and work with whom we can trust and find a way around those people and try to instill compassion and love in the minds of even the politicians through education and awareness. I can't stress enough times, there is such dearth of information. People don't even realize that elephants are so intelligent, that they suffer from PTSD, and depression, that they are social animals. There are so many things to be taught. This is why I produced a short film series, which I'm hoping to share with policymakers, decision makers, even lawmakers. So we continue to do our work.
I mean, we've been getting such lovely feedback as we've been talking. I don't know if you two have been able to see, but along the bottom, we've been putting some of the comments up, and everyone is very supportive and cheering you on and loving Amy's artwork.
Of course.
So we've had a couple of suggestions coming through as we've been talking as well. So we said earlier about the pizza party, and then someone saying maybe you could do start a book club at a library. So these are some really great ideas, bit different ways to kind of connect people, raise awareness, and also raise some funds as well.
Yeah, and I just wanted to jump in quickly for the book club. I'm going to be launching book readings, and maybe we can come back online with you, Kathleen, and we can launch a book reading session, and we can work on that as well. So book club, I'm not so sure, but book reading sessions will definitely be there. And at library, I'm not so sure if libraries are still open because everybody's extremely cautious and still careful with the COVID restrictions.
We've got a question coming through from Angela, and she's asking is Shankar free?
No, he's not. He's in the Delhi Zoo, and we're fighting for his freedom. And VFAES is supporting the Youth for Animals organization 100%. Nikita and we communicate frequently through WhatsApp, and we're going to put forth a letter that we're going to send to Delhi Zoo and make sure that the world knows that what's happening there is not cool.
And if other people want to support you with that, is there a way that they can do that?
There's a petition, and I wish I had the petition link, but we can post it even after this is done. Nikita, if you're there, can you just send that link and maybe we can post that?
Excellent. Okay, so hopefully that will bring up. If not, you can always do it afterwards. And then we've got a question coming through from Winnie. Hi, Winnie. Always lovely to see you. A big supporter of the show. And she's asking if you ever see, I hope I pronounce this right, Lakshmi.
Yeah, thank you for asking. I was hoping nobody will ask me about her. I have a very, very special bond with Lakshmi, and this is the one you see behind me. This is Lakshmi, and this is Amy's painting, by the way. She did this last year, and every time I see this painting, this is me holding Lakshmi and just crying. And because that was the last day of my meeting. This was in November 2015. I'm trying not to get emotional, but that was the last I saw. The temple has prevented me from seeing her, and I'm so sorry. And there's not one single day that goes by that I don't think of her. It is a very helpless situation with Lakshmi and all captive elephants, simply because the laws of the land don't allow us to buy out elephants as is possible in many Asian countries. It's not possible in India because the wildlife law prohibits buying of elephants, and only government can actually own, whereas they can't own, you know what I'm saying? Like they have their own government-run elephant camps. And again, the religious establishments, they have such power, just like the elephant owners, they have such power over everything. And they rally up people by manipulating them about me being a culture's enemy, about me, who lives in Canada, who doesn't know anything about culture, whereas I am a vegan and I practice whatever my culture taught me, which is non-violence, which is being compassionate. I pray every single morning, and I believe in a higher power, as I said earlier. So whatever they say is actually, it takes over the harsh reality. So no matter what we say, the religious institutions and the elephant mafias or elephant owners, they tend to have such incredible power. Speaking of which, that was the reason Lakshmi and I are never allowed to see each other again. I'm never allowed to go to the temple. Even during the screening, once I went to the temple, assuming, and I just paid a surprise visit, assuming that she'll be there, but they knew somehow, because the police notified the temple, okay, this is how the whole thing works, which should not have happened. But they said, oh, she's coming to the temple. They're like, oh, we're not going to bring Lakshmi. So Lakshmi didn't show up. I waited there for 30 minutes like a mad woman, looking for her, listening to her shackles. But she didn't show up that day. And the place was empty, and so was my heart. And I haven't seen her for almost 6 years. And even if I return to Kerala, I don't think they're going to let me see her unless a compassionate judge says, okay, we can rescue her. So
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I completely understand. It's so clear your passion and your love, and yeah, I'm really sorry. So we had another question that kind of feeds a little bit more kind of about what the challenges you're facing. Is that the kind of one of the big issues that you're facing?
Well, cyberbullying always happens. And, again, the issues that I face is constantly it's insidious. The issues that I face just emerge insidiously. Just when you think you're making a difference, something happens and the bubble bursts, right? It's just being that way, but I can't give up. And similarly, I had a bully and his friends continuing to hound me, saying all kinds of nasty things. The DGP, that is the Director General of Police of Kerala, when I am there, I always get police protection because you never know. And so these are challenges that I deal with as it comes, as they come. But I'm not going to let those things impact my work. I'll continue to, even if I can do it from afar. I have had so many ongoing virtual sessions for forest officials from Odisha, from different states, and I'm planning to do something for West Bengal and even Kerala judges, as I mentioned, right? Fingers crossed. So there are different ways to work through it, but bullying is one of the things that has been constant, cyberbullying. And this is something, trolls, something that you just have no control over because Facebook is just not monitoring and doing the things that it's supposed to do. So those are just some challenges, but I just can't talk about all the challenges I go through emotionally, physically, and mentally. I was involved in an accident. I sustained 5 broken bones. And right now my foot and my leg are being held together with a titanium plate and 18 screws. Nothing is going to stop me, but you just keep doing what you have to do.
I mean, we are so grateful for everything that you are doing. And luckily on this platform, there's no trolls. All we're getting here is lots and lots of love and support. And they're all saying that you're doing incredible work. Amy, they're all loving your work as well. So we're going to start to wrap up now. So Amy, maybe with you, is there anything that you want to say before we say goodbye?
I just want to thank you again, Sangita, for the work that you do. I know it's really tough. I feel lucky to be able to support you. And if there's anything I hope we always work together for as long as we can, because I love what you're doing. I love that you're helping these amazing animals. And I love you. You're awesome.
Oh, I love you too, Amy, and the feeling is so mutual. It's such an honor to have somebody so staunch and so dedicated on my side, on our elephant side, and it just means so much to me. The work you do is also equally inspiring, and it's just mind-boggling how you do what you do. Every time I watch what you do, I'm like, no, she's unbeatable. Like there's nothing beyond this, right? She dances to the music, energy is oozing out of her. It's just amazing. And Kathleen, I'm just so grateful to you as well for organizing this and for, giving an opportunity for everyone to come and talk. And thank you, everybody. Mara, for your kind words. Mark Skipsey, thank you for your kind words. Jane, you guys have all been by my side. I could not do all of this without the support of my supporters. And God is great. God is wonderful. The higher power always guides me. And I just take the time to spend, a lot of time in the natural world, and I am guided. So thank you so much. And I'm just appreciative. If anybody wants to support, like I said, log on to VFAES.org or email us at support@VFAES.org. Email us, and we can see how we can work together.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to bring up the link as well to your fundraiser. So again, if people want to get your hands on that incredible drawing by Amy, I mean, again, I don't know how you do that. I couldn't even start. But so thank you so much. And thank you both for taking the time to come on the show and tell your story and help spread awareness. I also want to thank Sonia as well for giving me the connection in the first place to you. So thank you for that. And yeah, as I say, if you look back later, you're going to see lots and lots of lovely support and comments. If you've enjoyed the show, please do like, comment and share. The more people who see it, the more awareness we can raise and the more work that people can do to help spread the message of the work that we're doing. And thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. We're still getting the lovely comments coming through as we go, but we're going to wrap up. So from me, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye.